I don't know what it's like in Russia now, but there used to be a fashion for making political statements with matryoshka dolls. You know, those Russian dolls, one inside the other. So instead, well, I suppose you could call them malenki otets dolls, because these aren't matryoshkas, they're fathers, not mothers. Anyway, I'll show you 3 of one series I got, and that's Joe Stalin, and this is Nikita Khrushchev, and this is Leonid Brezhnev. And they went on and on, up and down. It went, before Stalin there was a Lenin doll. Anyway, the point about these dolls was this one of Khrushchev, because you may notice here, well, let's see, there, he is holding an ear of corn. Khrushchev was famous in Russia for corn and the failure thereof. Here, maybe you'll see, there's the corn there. Right. I was reminded of Khrushchev and his corn when I saw that Keir Starmer is saying that people aren't working and he is going to take Britain back to work and get people off benefits. Just like that. I'm Granniopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. So, you see, the point about the Khrushchev corn was this. He was on a visit to America and he saw wide open prairies filled with corn that the farmers were growing in huge quantities. And Khrushchev thought, oh, I could do that. Russia could do that. And he went back to Russia and he ordered farmers, collective farms, industrial farms, to grow corn. Well, they did try. Unfortunately, most of Russia is not suitable for the growing of corn. And the whole thing turned into a huge disaster. And that's what happens when you've got somebody who thinks that you can organise a society simply by diktat. Now, let's have a look at the way our government thinks they can solve the unemployment problem. Oh, hang on. I just want to make sure that I have the right... No, I don't. Now I have the right microphone. All right. Take it away.
To be bringing forward a new youth guarantee so that every young person is earning on learning, overhauling the apprenticeship system so more people have a chance to train, and bringing together that work, health and skills support, really driven by people in local areas, because that's what our young people deserve.
But if young people will not take up those offers, will they face sanctions? Will they lose benefits if they just say no? Because you've said yourself should be no option of people having a life on benefits.
Yes. And the reason this is so important is we will transform those opportunities for young people. We will put in place a youth guarantee so everyone has the chance to be earning or learning. But in return for those new opportunities, young people will have a responsibility to take them up.
Right. Now, I'll take the sound down on this. I'm just showing the way that Labour Party politicians talk all the time. They have this way of punching their words into the viewer. And I don't know whether they're taught to do that or whether that's just them trying to convince themselves they're doing something. But there's always this sort of body language of push, push. Now, let's have a look at the headline here. Starmer declares Britain simply isn't working and unveils a plan to slash benefits bill. So that means if a young person refuses to take a job, then they're going to, anybody actually, not just a young person, they're going to lose benefits. However, he hasn't done anything about the disability. Well, loophole. It's not a loophole for some, obviously, but a lot of people do claim disability when they're really not that disabled. You know, they make up all sorts of excuses, and they sort of go off grid. You know, I mean, we have plenty of people, not only illegal immigrants, who are in a non-mainstream economy. Yeah, how about that? Anyway, they are promising to come down hard on people who are avoiding work. Yeah, because they say so. What happens if there's no work to be got? For instance, here, their economic policies are reducing jobs. High street job losses are inevitable. Prices will rise and shops will close because of tax rises in the budget and other rising costs. A group of the biggest retailers in the UK is warning. This is from Retail Gazette. The UK's biggest retailers warned of inevitable job losses as a result of the government's decision to increase national insurance. That's not the only thing. Over 70 businesses, including Tesco, Sainsbury's, Next, Amazon and Boots, have written to Reeves in a letter organised by trade association, the BRC, cautioning that the sheer scale of the new costs on companies mean job cuts are inevitable. And then there's this one from Bloomberg. Keir Starmer risks another battle over his Labour government's controversial first budget. The government will publish its Get Britain Working White Paper on Tuesday. But if there are no jobs there, look at that closed shop. If there's no job there, how can they get people working? Big businesses, it says here, this is in the Times, including Tesco, Next and Marks and Spencer's, have already warned the Chancellor that her budget plans will cost jobs, raise prices and lead to shop closures. So it's all very well for the Labour Party to say, we declare no more scrounging on benefit. It's all very well for them to say that. But if they're driving businesses into the ground, how are people supposed to get off benefit? And this is the sort of thing, where is it? Here we are. This is the sort of thing I'm talking about. You get somebody at the top with an idea. They say, this is going to happen. And they push it forward. And of course, it's a disaster. You know, I have a strange offbeat idea here, Sir Keir, and it goes like this. Release all constraints on businesses. Let them just explode outwards as much as they want. And then you'll get them looking for people to employ, won't you? I learned this when I was I don't suppose I was even a teenager at the time, but my father started off working for a company he as a commercial traveller, and at that time it was commercial travellers were very important because shops were few and far between. People weren't as mobile as they are now. You couldn't order stuff. Actually, the sort of Sears catalogue economy that people know about in America, it didn't really exist here. So, like farms and clubs out and pubs and places like that out in the villages, it would be very difficult for them to get large quantities of items like electric light bulbs and that sort of thing. And so my father was travelling around selling things like electric light bulbs in large quantities to isolated places. And he said one night he was out there in the wilds and he stopped at a small, a local pub that had beds for the night, and there was he was there. He'd been working until 8 or 9 at night. It was late, it was dark, and he got into this place, and there was one old guy behind the reception desk. And my father booked himself in for the night, and this old guy creaked up the stairs and showed my father to his room. And it was about the time when they were bringing in, it wasn't a minimum wage at the time, but it was some sort of wage control or a work hours control or something that they were bringing in. This must have been around the 1950s when, after the war, there was a lot of pressure. There was a Conservative government in, but there was a lot of pressure from the Labour Party to improve things for the working people. That was the idea, as you will see from the poster I'm going to be putting up here. But so even the Conservatives were doing a lot of social legislation, just tinkering with work conditions. And that obviously some of them really did need changing. The world was different. But even so, it was the beginning of the end for British industry. Absolutely. My father told me he saw that old man and he thought, next year he's not going to have a job. Because he would have been working longer hours than was probably allowed, or the salary that this old fellow was working in or earning, they would have been made illegal by whatever the law was. And my father said the next time he went past that place, it was closed down. And that's the whole point. When you make so many laws, that old guy, all right, it was probably not an easy life, but he got a little bit extra. Instead of living off a pension on the state, he had a little bit extra and he had a job, the dignity of earning a living. But even if it was a low paid living. And that's the thing. You get these leaders, these great leaders with these ideas that they can control everything. In this case, it ended up with failed crops and starvation in Russia. Right, well, yeah, that's our dear leader's latest idea. He's going to control the economy, he's going to close down farms, he's going to close down businesses, and then he's going to find work for all these people on benefit. Well, good luck with that. Oh, and somebody said they miss me saying hello at the beginning of my videos. So I forgot to do it this time. I'll try and remember that for next time. All right. Till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.